But I do recommend upgrading your Google Analytics to the paid version. There's a lot of new stuff in that right now. So again, going back to your data input sources, that list of your input sources, you choose which ones that you can use to get this information. In this case, you want to look at your marketing activity, your property management system, your call center, and your web analytics, and you start accumulating this data. If you're not already, if you're already getting this data, great, you want to keep on doing that. But if there are ways that you can improve collecting your data, that is something that you're going to want to start as soon as you can. You can't get there tomorrow if you don't start today in this world, in the data world. So, in this situation, you could start tracking your marketing activity by type and location. You can make sure that your city, state, and zip is located in all your leads. You can make sure that your web analytics are set up correctly to capture non-big data. So, this is another example from the Alabama area year over year that you would see that you're down in your top two feeder markets in Birmingham and New Orleans, but you're up in Atlanta and Baton Rouge. Now, there could be a ton of reasons for this. This is when your action item this time becomes very investigative. You may have dropped some advertising to those areas that you may want to go back and pick up. Or you may have found out that Birmingham just had a bunch of tornadoes that came through and they're not booking because of something weather related. Or New Orleans had a big convention in your area and they're not coming back this year because that convention's not happening. So there could be other reasons besides just your company. But this is a really great time also to look at that CVB data and see if it's you that's down or if it's your region that's down. So go to customer retention. So you might want to know if your churn rate is higher or lower than any previous years. Your churn rate being the amount of repeat business that you're losing every year. So if to find this out, this is largely in your property management system. So this is kind of an easy one to do. You're not having to go to a lot of outside sources to find this out. So you're pulling out your stays, and you want to include your guest data when you're pulling this information, because your guest data, when you do start to look at why, what's going on with it, if it's higher or lower, and what you're doing right, you kind of want to know where you're doing it right and when you're doing it right. So that's why pulling this information, check-in time, check-in date, check-out date, length of stay, booking window, city, state, zip, that kind of stuff. Property type, again. So your data input source here is just the property management system. You try to accumulate clean data, just the same steps over and over and over again. So if you haven't created a comprehensive system for connecting guest records in your reservations department, this is going to be a shameless plug for the Navis CRM that we're launching at the end of the year. So any type of CRM that you've got in your system, you want to make sure that your reservations and your front desk people are connecting reservations so that you know who your past guests are. And also, if you're using source codes, it's helpful if you have some consistency in that. And I know this is difficult. I've been there. So it's whether you have one source code available to you, or two, or three, or as many as you want, getting everyone on the same page with source codes will help your marketing efforts tremendously. So let's say you find out in this situation that where you're seeing your lowest retention by month is in April and May and August and September. And again, this is where you start investigating a little bit. You think, okay, did we have some weather issues last year that would cause people not to want to come back this year? If they came for a visit in August and September, it rained for the entire months of August and September, they may not have rebooked. And that's kind of understandable. But if that's the case, then you can target that. You can target them with a 10-day forecast and a great offer. If maybe in April that there was a big event in your area that they haven't done again, whether it was and this actually happened along the Gulf Coast. They had boat races, and then it was a big deal, and there were a lot of bookings for it, and then they canceled it. And so everyone's bookings, of course, were down for the month of August, as a result. So some of it may be normal, some of it may be very justified. If it's not, and again, this is where your CVB data can help you, then you're going to want to find out what happened with you. Some of these things at this point that you can target to past guests with these offers. You can also do some really cool stuff about aggregating this list and degrouping it. Looking with you who stayed in 2011, who stayed in 2012, and who stayed in 2013. If you take out the people who stayed in 2013 or have booked for 2014, you're left with a list booked with you for about a year and a half, considering the lead time. And at this point, you can put together an email marketing campaign and email marketing blasts, which are not as effective as they used to be. Or you can put together some individualized marketing campaigns, much more segmented and targeted based on when they stay, based on the kind of properties they have, based on the geography that they're from, those kind of things. And if you get really ambitious, and it's the off-season, you can have your reservation agents actually call them. And we encourage people to do this a lot. If there is not a problem with actually making an outbound phone call to someone who inquired with you. And then, if you feel like this is a customer satisfaction issue, this may be a good time to do surveys. So, owner acquisition and retention. This is, again, going through the same steps over and over again. You determine your objective, you decide what you want to measure. Which property types have had the most lost revenue based on demand? Decide what you want to measure, and you're looking here at your not booked data. So you identify the sources. You want your property management system, your web analytics, and your lead management system. And then, if you're not collecting the data in a clean way, this is when you'll want to do it. So let's say this is what you find out, that these are your call center stats, that you, for 1 bedroom, 2 bedroom, and 3 bedroom condos. Again, trying to simplify at the same time. So, in the call center, this is a number of reservations that have been turned away. This is your lost revenue. So 1 bedroom condos, 2 bedroom, and then with the web searches with no availability, you can see 1 bedroom, 2 bedroom, and 3 condos here. Third party and walk-ins. And what you can do with this is for acquisition, you can target the complexes. You can actually further target this by the complexes. So you can look at Island House, Summer House, whatever the complexes are, there's some communities, so if you're looking at, you know you've got demand in 2 bedrooms. Is demand for your 2 bedrooms higher in certain communities and certain locations than it is in others? And then you can target those complexes with messaging about your metrics. You can say, we turned down revenue here. We're not just saying that we can actually make you money. We know we can because we turned it down. So, and also with retention, I really feel strongly about showing and telling of your current homeowners. Nobody can tell your story better than you can, and you know your numbers for any of these properties. In some cases, if you have a lot of homes, and we've been talking a lot about condos, that some particular homes have gotten a lot of requests, and those are the ones you want to say, look, we've had so much demand for your property, here that you're not going to have this anywhere else. And so just being able to continually have this kind of data available to you. These are very light examples of what you can do, and kind of stuff that's coming down the pipeline. So anyway, like I said, this presentation, I'm going to hand it over here. It is on SlideShare, and if you have any questions, my phone number and my email address are on there. I appreciate it.
Can you tell us where to get to SlideShare? Because a lot of people haven't been able to find it. Is it on the Rezfest website? Or?
Oh, it will be. Or again, get your card on something.
Right, but is it meant to?
It's on mine. It's in there.
There'll be an email about how to get all the information.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah,
Thanks.
okay.
Okay, thank you.
Questions?